U.S. has become the first country in the world to record more than 2,000 coronavirus deaths in a single day. The U.S. has now recorded 18,586 deaths and is closing in on the toll of 18,849 dead in Italy, which has seen the most fatalities so far in the global pandemic. But experts on the White House COVID-19 task force say the outbreak is starting to level off across the U.S.
In the midst of grief and pain, we're seeing clear signs that our aggressive strategy is saving countless lives. Tremendous progress is being made, although when you look at some of the numbers, I just spoke with Governor Cuomo, we had a good talk. When you look at those numbers, the numbers of death, people that have died, it's so horrible. Now, on the other side, you have the numbers of beds being used, we were just saying, are substantially reduced. That's usually the sign that it's heading in the downward curve.
You are, and watching them in log phase, because that's how epidemiologists like to look at their curves. You can see for the first time that in the United States, we're starting to level on the logarithmic phase like Italy did about a week ago. And so this gives us great heart that not only in specific places, but we're starting to see that change. Obviously, a lot of that is driven by the improvement in New York City. Remember, for a long time, they were over 50% of our cases and 50% of our new cases. That has dramatically changed because of the impact of what the citizens of New York and New Jersey and across Connecticut and now Rhode Island are doing to really change the course of this pandemic and really change the trajectory of new cases. Our mortality in the United States is significantly less than many of the other countries when you correct them for our population. And that is really solely the work of our frontline healthcare providers.
So again, just keeping on the theme that Dr. Birx had mentioned, this is the end of the week, that famous week that we spoke about last weekend, in which what actually was predicted to happen happened. We're starting to see the leveling off and the coming down that Dr. Birx had mentioned. But it's important to remember that this is not the time to feel that since we have made such important advance in the sense of success of the mitigation, that we need to be pulling back at all. I was actually heartened by the fact that we've been talking about the New York, New Jersey, New Orleans, and other areas where they have really big spikes. But there's other parts of the country, in the middle parts of the country, where they're concerned to make sure they don't get those spikes. So don't let anyone get any false ideas that when we decide at a proper time when we're going to be relaxing some of the restrictions, there's no doubt you're going to see cases. I would be so surprised if we did not see cases.
Researchers had predicted the U.S. death toll would hit its peak on Friday and then gradually start to decline, falling to around 970 people a day by May 1. The day members of the Trump administration have floated as a possible day to start reopening the economy. The U.S. has most cases in the world with more than 500,000 infected. In Friday's White House briefing, Mr. Trump said he had seen the drone images of coffins being stacked in a mass grave on New York's Hart Island. Officials there say the island, which has been used to bury people with no next of kin for over 150 years, is now burying bodies at 5 times the normal rate.